Done?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. All right. So, welcome everyone. It's Monday morning. We are live on YouTube, and currently we are working with the book The Invocation of Presence, Chapter 10, The Essentials of Momentum of Invocation. Go ahead, Nishan.
Yeah, so you know how we said all phenomena is illusion?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make some changes just for my, understanding on that. Um, I would say that all phenomena is a delusion. The reason I say is like by definition, delusion is a false and firm belief in something. So, we really believe this, that this is how it is, this is what it is. Um, and mostly it's less a fleeting. Sometimes we believe in this, and next moment we believe in completely opposite. So it just, I thought it would be better served if we say that all phenomena is a delusion.
Okay.
Yeah, this just helped me a little bit more than all phenomena is illusion.
Good. I mean, if it helps you, then it works. Okay.
Yeah,
If it helps you, then it works. So go with it. That's a good thing. If you find as you penetrate something, you'll find how it might work better for you, more effectively. The key is to spend the time to penetrate it a little bit. And you did.
yeah.
Welcome, Barney.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late.
Hey, Bernie.
Yeah.
You're right on time, Barney. You're right on time.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'll start. We agreed last week that we will go back to the material that we covered during the last meeting since David wasn't here. So, we'll read that again.
Okay.
Going back to chapter 10, the essentials of momentum of invocation. Yeah, anybody? If you like reading, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I can read. Chapter 10, The Essentials of Momentum of Invocation. You may have the best exercises in the world available for your work, G said. But unless you remember to actually do them, just knowing about them is of no evolutionary benefit. In some way, we must use our ordinary activities and mechanical attention to produce remembering factors. The best tool for this is perhaps thinking by association. One thing suggests another. G asked M if she remembered a particular detail from the previous evening's talk. Her response was, I don't know. Then you could ask yourself, G said, what do I know? Examine your data absolute until this becomes boring, boring, boring. As the FOG, the face of God, the patchwork quilt. No matter what I think I see, the king is naked. But it is so frustrating. The frustration of organic emotions reminds me to do what? Invoke presence. Walking between raindrops.
Hmm.
30 exercises could be suggested by the natural course of events. Simply let one exercise suggest another exercise. Then, occasionally, you should review to see if you have left out an exercise. Perhaps there is one you have forgotten. As you are reminded of one exercise, try it. Then, hopefully, this will remind you of another. In this way, your whole day can be filled with self-invocations.
And that's the end of the chapter. One thing that stood out to me last week, and I think Alka pointed out, uh, that this is the first time that the thinking by association part of the apparatus is being used as a tool
Yeah.
for invocation of presence. Whenever we have read about um, thinking by association, it had been always associated with, oh, we are always swept by the thoughts. One thing is leading to another, you're lost in the swirling patterns of the thoughts. And I kind of associated a negative connotation whenever I read thinking by association. But this is the first time that I've seen it used as a tool for the invocation of presence. So I think that was like huge to me.
Yeah, I think this specifically be helpful for recurring thoughts. If you have a recurring thought, something, like um something that is making you uncomfortable, or if you have, to the extent some people have like a PTSD or OCD or something, maybe you can use that as a trigger, those recurring thoughts.
So then you're saying that the recurring thought will remind you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, because it says that it is so frustrating. The frustration of organic emotions reminds me to do what? Invoke presence. Walking between raindrops. I don't know what this means, walking between raindrops.
Oh, does anybody want to take a shot at that?
Where do you see that, Nishant? Walking between
It's
raindrops?
at the end of that one paragraph. It's third.
Where it says, but
Oh,
it is so
yes.
frustrating. Yeah.
I saw it as you have to be so aware, like at every moment, like it's literally like walking. Uh,
Yeah, that's good. Keep going.
you cannot you cannot let any moment pass. It has to be so delicate. It's like walking on a tight rope, something like that. So you have to have awareness at every moment, and you cannot let any moment skip. So you feel like, oh, this gap is okay, but that's what I realized, that every time I feel that, oh, I'll be aware when the class is going on, or I'll be aware at this moment. But that's how it works. Like you have to be aware at every moment when you're drained into that negative or whatever emotion, the moon energy basically. So
Right.
any moment you're not walking between the raindrops or walking on that tight leash, you have let yourself go. It's the moon energy took over right away. That's what I.
Mhm.
So chapter 19 of Practical Work on Self is entitled Walking Between Raindrops. And the chapter abstract is Posture is Mother to Mood. Tempo of work is mother to organic and psychic tempo. Self-initiated voluntary manifestations is mother to death with presence. It's a very short chapter, but if you happen to have the book, it's just 2 pages long. You might want to take a look at it.
What chapter was it, David? I'll just put it in the chat.
19.
And I just wanted to add to that because there is a saying, Ganga Sati is like one enlightened lady, and she used to sing songs in Gujarat, in India.
Uh-huh.
She used to tell her daughter-in-law these songs. And one of the songs is Vijri ne chamkare mutira parao panbai. So Ganga Sati used to tell this daughter-in-law Panbai, and then she got, she found herself. But she used to say that whenever there is a lightning, in that moment or in that light of the lightning, you have to try to sew, like put the thread in the needle's eye, like so. So the whole
Nice.
song is whenever there's a lightning, it has to be so precise that you have to try to, what do you say, pass the thread,
Yeah. They Americans use the term thread the needle.
thread the needle when the lightning strikes. Basically, that's the term.
Well, it's a beautiful saying because in addition to that, the other subtle meaning to that is that may be the only moment you have is that when the lightning strikes in that light may be the only moment you have for an opportunity. Embrace it, take it, love it. This may be the only moment we have right now.
I don't know, but this kind of reminds me of the movie The Shawshank Redemption, where the inmate tries to escape the prison, but he uses the lightning's strike to visualize where the pipe is, and he breaks the pipe at exactly the same time when the lightning occurs.
So another way of looking at this momentum of invocation, let's say that you voluntarily work to consider your presence while you're making coffee or tea. Okay. I mean, that's a complex action, right? Making tea. You have to put the water on, you have to prepare the kettle, there are many steps to it. You let it steep, then serve it. What if you really penetrate that 1, 2, or 3 or 4 times as an activity of invoking presence while you're doing each step? And then if you forget, you will have injected that process into making tea. Do you know what I mean? In other words, the concept of you walk up to the teapot and already it starts.
Yeah.
But the moment where I'm having an issue is that if there is somebody else at that teapot, then there is an irritation which starts. So how to be because
Good.
yeah, because the situation you're talking of is say something. For me, it's driving, and whenever I'm driving, it's that reminder. But then if I'm on the passenger seat, and if somebody else is driving, then it's not the same as somebody else. But then you have to keep reminding yourself that it doesn't matter who, but in that moment, so
Good. So then you've injected that into the act of driving. So if your husband's driving and he does a bad job, we've been watching him, Bhavani.
If or when,
When and if. if he's driving, when he's driving. My point is that if you've injected the habit of presence and attention into that area, you'll in a sense you're going to miss being in presence. You know what I mean? And like if so if you're irritated because somebody else is doing the tea or somebody else is driving, then you have a chance to observe yourself with objectivity. And you can go, what a bummer. All I can do is judge this person, you know? Why aren't they doing it exactly like I do it? Because clearly that's the best way on the planet, you know?
Yeah.
Even though,
And David, what I feel is this process that you just talked about is almost automatic. And then for me, I realized quite later on that I'm swept away by this again for the 1999 time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is the reason I changed that illusion to delusion, you know. That helped me to realize, oh wow, what a firm and false belief I have that I am the one who does everything the best way there is to do.
mhm.
No one else can do this. Um, yeah,
Yeah. And, it's really scary when they do it differently than you do. And somehow they achieved it worked.
Better, yeah.
And you go, something's wrong with them, you know? I mean, and the point is that if you've injected the habit of invocation of presence into that act, it will come, it'll bring you to a opportunity to observe the the whole garden of what's going on at that moment. Yeah. Yeah, right here they say 30 exercises. The practical work on self turned out to be 24, you know, and then
mm,
it became called the Big 24. Yeah, but walking between the raindrops is an interesting possibility, you know. Like, for instance, notice the mechanicality, right? If it rains, which it probably never does in Las Vegas, though there's rain downpours every once in a while. But if it rains and you're walking outside, let's just say it's a light rain, okay? And the we're used to, first of all, protecting ourselves from the rain, which is, if it's a light rain, it's like big deal, right? But anyway, we're protecting ourselves from the, but let's say a drop hits your face. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine that moment? Not really. Have you ever been in the rain?
yes,
Have you ever heard
yes.
of rain?
Yes, I
A
have heard
drop,
of such things.
yeah, of course. So a drop will touch your face or the snowflake. And what do we do when that happens? Most of the time we recoil, right? We go, ugh, ugh, or we grimace. Why? It's just another sensation.
The machine reacts before we are aware of it.
But to use Nishant's concept, we put a delusion that it's bad. It's just a sensation. It touches your face. It's cool. But what if you just notice, you place your attention on it, you just notice what it's like for a drop of rain to touch your face? It's kind of nice. We all think we're going to get harmed and it's going to ruin our hair. It's, you know, our costume, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Go down that thought pattern, right?
Yeah. Just things that, and we can see how we're just deluded, to use your phrase, which I'm just trying on a little bit here, Nishan. We're deluded to think it's bad to be rained on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's bad. It's just rain. It's water. It's moisture.
Yeah. And some of the things, just that rain, just to use this um example that you used, David. In India, in the Indian culture, they invite rain. They have prayers for rain, that, oh, please have some rain here. And when I came to America, my nephew, he was 5, and he was singing like, rain, rain, go away, come again. And I said, what is, this? It's a different conditioning.
Yeah,
There it is, baby.
I know. I make sure I don't teach that song to my kids at all. They still don't know that song.
No, we want the rain.
Yeah, in India, that's so true,
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like different kind of delusion, right? Like here we are like, oh, rain, go away. And in India, it's the same input, same sensory input,
Correct.
but different reaction to it.
So another thing you can do is things that are societally common, like shopping for food. Okay. You go into the store and you're pushing your cart. If you have a cart, you're pushing it along. Maybe you have your kids with you getting tomatoes and avocado, whatever it is. And there's certain habits that society dictates. And you don't want to like harm anybody, but you can also do things a little bit differently. And
Yeah.
let's say there's a long line to check out. You can, how about talking to your neighbor, the person in line with you, and say, instead of complaining about how long the line is, maybe you just start talking about the weather or how cool it is, or boy, I just tried these new apples I really love, and enter into community or communication. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
enormous pressure to follow exactly what society does. And I'm not saying to do anything that harms anybody else, but notice how you fall into the pattern of it. You know, like it's a really long line, everybody's frustrated, the cashier's frustrated. So immediately you start hurrying to get the right change out and pay right or get the card or whatever, and you're all frustrated. At that moment, break that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Mhm.
point.
Right at that moment when you can see, you're just going, oh, I gotta hurry because they won't like me. They don't know you. And offer a kind word to the cashier, not, you're doing a great job, but just say something like, man, I had a great day shopping today. I love this store. And just, if it's true, it has to be true for you. Or, I can't wait to try this new cheese or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Let them see a
Yeah.
moment of joy.
I'll tell you a funny story on this, David. One of my colleagues, he's from Syria, and he has a daughter. She must be older now, but at that time she was like 9 or something. And they moved to a neighborhood here in Dallas where it is mostly Indian people. And he was asking me, he said, "Oh, whenever I take my daughter to the park, there are a lot of older Indian like uncles. And they ask me that, oh, what do I do? How much I make, and so it's like, why they ask me that question? I said, that's normal. This is just normal communication. So just get used to it. Uh, and then he left. He went to some other uh, place, but he was covering for someone one day after almost like a year or so. And we had a new doctor joined in. She just joined in like just 1 month back. And we were just chit chatting. I said, "Oh, how have you been? It's been a while." And he said, "Oh, where is this new doctor? Where did she come from? Where did she do her residency? Where does she live?" I said, "What happened to you, man? You looks like you got this infection from these
Exactly.
uncles." Even I
Exactly.
don't know. So how it catches on, right? I mean, there's patterns. He is
Yeah.
from a different upbringing, but now he got this pattern where he's like asking everything about even a new person that he has
Yeah.
no idea.
He's a real American now. Oh gosh. Yeah, so our life fortunately is filled with these things, filled with opportunities to inject these into our life. For Bhavani, it's driving or being in the car when someone else is driving, or making tea or making a meal, you know. So it's really fun, isn't it? All the opportunities that we can do, like,
Yeah, especially the ones which are uncomfortable to us, it should be the trigger. It's
Yeah.
easy to make it a trigger.
yeah,
But I also realized, like, I think when David talked about making food, I realized in India we have this idols where we actually make food for the idols, like especially in all houses, you mostly have some sort of an idol. So whenever you're cooking food, you're cooking food first for the god and then for the family, so that is one thing which I recalled that, in those aspects they have that. Mhm.
your child wants to join the meeting.
That was so sweet.
It is sweet.
So welcome. We have
Well,
one more member.
in one class we had that I asked, the son came into the room. I said, have the son join and listen for a while and then wrote. Always welcome. That's an accident. Okay. That's an accident that occurred. This child came to his mommy but at the moment that we're having this class, is that an accident that has meaning? Maybe.
He's been here since the beginning. He's reading a book on airplanes. So yeah,
Airplanes, yeah. And how old is he?
he's 3.
3. So that's pretty young.
Mhm.
How many jokes have you told him in the last week or two, Pavani?
I guess 4 to 5.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Like the old joke, if you have 4 oranges in one hand and 5 apples in another hand, what do you have?
2 hands.
No, you have really big hands. Anyway,
That's a
That's a
good.
kid's joke.
Yeah.
But maybe a little bit older than 3.
That's good. Thank you.
I can't think of any 3-year-old jokes right now, but they're there. What did one wall say to the other wall?
Mm.
Meet you at the corner.
It's funny.
That might be a 3-year-old joke. Meet you at the corner.
These are, I think, around 5-year-old jokes. But
Okay.
love these, yeah.
I found that one of the hardest things is for people to tell jokes to others. And I can't quite figure that out. Why is that so hard? I know all the, I can't remember, I don't know any jokes. I've heard all of that.
I think because when you're doing a comedy or trying to do stand-up or anything like that, you have to assume a posture that is different from the one that we usually have in our day-to-day life. The persona is different. The comedian persona is different from your regular persona.
And I think that's important, Nikhil, because I've like since a week or two, I've been trying to combine the part that EJ said about being happy. It was a while ago, that when you spot happy people, and then I realized this joke that we're talking about, and the whole point is that can we try to make anything fun or be happy from within, so I think like since a while, I've been trying to do that when you get upset, when the kids suddenly you made food and they're like, I didn't want this, I wanted noodles, so yeah. And then I would generally I would do that. No, this is the food and you have to have it. You could have told me before. But now when I started practicing, suddenly I just stood there and I said, oh, I think I have some magic powers. And I went to the cooktop and I started cooking, as if I'm cooking what they told me to do. And I just, I did everything and I'm like, here you go, ta-da, put it on their plate. And they started laughing. And then I realized that something that I could have, instead of being negative about that, I could have actually just taken that point. And that's what I'm learning to do. That, you just take what they're telling you and
Yeah.
and you're not doing anything. You're just saying, oh, you wanted noodles? Okay, sorry, I made, rice and this. And then suddenly I started cooking noodles and I said, oh, there you go, as if I have a magic wand, and I put it on their plate. And they started laughing. And then my daughter's like, I want this. And I did that to her. And they happily were eating what I cooked.
Exactly.
Time,
But look at the mechanism there. You injected positive energy into a space of, I didn't get what I wanted, right? And that's a beautiful thing. So you injected presence and attention into that. Humor is levity. It raises everything. Okay? And that's what you did. You put levity into that moment. You took the energy of, I didn't get what I wanted, I didn't get what I wanted, and you converted it into something. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing that we can do all the time. I just wanted to say real quickly that you have to be very careful when you're reading cookbooks or health books, particularly health books, because if you're not careful, you could die of a misprint. I think Santa Claus had the right idea. Visit people once a year.
David, there have been cookbooks like that where the recipes had certain ingredients that are toxic when combined together. And clearly the author didn't know that.
So you got to be careful all the time. But anyway, it's just how can you, so what Bhavani is telling us, how can you take a situation and convert it into a positive, even though there's a negative to it? So the first thing we want to do when someone disagrees, we want to defend ourselves, right? This is what I made. You better eat it. That's all you got. Forget it. Stop arguing. She didn't do that. She just took the energy and converted it into a moment of magic. And everybody benefited from it, including Bhavani, right?
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to add, that it's not a posture or something, but it could be an attitude basically to sell jokes, which I realized is very important, which we generally may not have, like we have expectations in everything we go into. And that's what I realized that I have when I serve food. There has to be an expectation that people eat it. So just to break that, yeah.
Should we move on to the next chapter?
Bhavani, you said was loaded, and it is a huge feat to think that way. Yeah, let's move. I think she's busy with a kid.
Michelle, do you want to talk about the pond exercise? You put it in the chat.
Sorry, Nika, what did you just say?
Do you want to talk about the pond exercise? I think you put it in the chat that we talked about last week.
Yeah, I just thought we'd talk about extensively a little bit about the ripples and I'm not sure exactly now how it was related to, but it was pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you spent a great deal of time on that one.
On the pond exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we also read through the
Yeah.
brief summary from Practical Work on
The
Self.
brief summary.
I think it was related about not getting affected directly by the manifestation of others, and let it rippled and disappeared.
Observing the ripples without identification.
Correct.
What was the key name of the exercise in that chapter?
Wasn't it the pond exercise? I'm sorry.
Yeah. In the chapter, he speaks specifically about that process, and there's a name to that exercise.
Don't remember because we only read the summary in as a reference to this understanding the thing that came in the last chapter.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
chapter 2, right? Yeah.
None of them is chapter 2.
It's chapter 2 of Practical Work on Self. Yeah. And that exercise is called Parting of the Red Sea. It's in the chapter. It's not in the chapter heading.
I think I've heard that in HPM. I might be wrong,
I've
but I do
also
remember,
heard it or read it or practiced it, but I don't remember it.
or I remember David speaking about parting of the Red Sea before.
Okay. Why was that important to you, Michelle?
Because it is so hard to accomplish it.
What's hard?
To absorb the negative manifestation of others and use them for invocation of presence of the absolute, to feed the absolute with it.
Yeah, I think it is one of the hardest thing to do, I guess.
You know, in Latin or in Spanish, it's easier to understand. The word sacrifice, you can spread it sacro facere, make sacred.
Mm.
So in a way, that thing that you say, oh, it's sacrifice. If you endure that sacrifice, somehow hacer sacrificio is make something sacred, no? Sagrado.
Beautiful.
I didn't know the etymology that this word sacrifice came from sacred.
Well, it's Latin, but
Mhm.
that's really, really beautiful, Bernie. Thank you. So let me ask you something, Michelle. Do you think you're going to have an event today where somebody's manifestations will emerge? Manifestations you don't like, that is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Mhm.
And so one of the things that Spinoza says in book uh, 5, anyway, doesn't matter. I'm sorry. One of the things that you could do is go into that event armed, with your toolkit, right? And your toolkit is that when somebody's negative manifestations, as defined by you, by the way, right, begin to manifest, maybe all you can do today is observe how does it actually physically affect your body. Okay. It's like, do you like tense up your body and because you're in defensive mode? Maybe. I don't know how you work, but maybe it's something like that. But if you can observe the physical manifestation of it, okay, maybe
Okay.
that's all you can do today.
Yeah, I think my heart raced. Usually my heart, yeah.
That's called because you're trying to defend yourself. You're trying to stay alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't the machine doing what we've asked it to do to defend us to keep us alive. Your delusion or illusion, your delusion is that that person saying what they're saying to you about you or whatever they're doing somehow affects your very survival. Eventually, you can get to the place where you can just, like uh, a scientist, an archaeologist, you're observing what is going on in front of you. You just observe it. Well, look, see how her voice went up and how her hand moves like this. And see, she's always using that particular phrase. But the key, very important key, not to judge that person.
Mhm.
If you judge them, it's nothing. It's zero.
That's good. That's a good advice. Not judging, because that's usually what take it
Sure.
down. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, that's easy, right? That's
Easier said than done.
yeah, but that's part of your drama then is watching your judgment come up. You know, the flood of judgment of of Mary. And she's doing this. What a jerk. Da, 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 da. Just become a scientist gathering data,
Okay.
mostly about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Or
Yeah. The thing is to really do it. I understand intellectually, but when it happens, it's like that joke. I don't know if you know that joke, but maybe I can practice it and
oh yeah,
tell it next time.
the
But
boom, the
the
boom.
canon, do you know
Yeah,
it? Do
yeah,
you want
yeah,
to
yeah.
tell it or
No,
no?
no, no, not no.
I
Keep
can
going
try.
with your commentary though.
Hmm?
When it actually happens, you get blown away, right?
Yeah.
So then that's what happened that time. Okay, this time I just got blown away. All right, got it. Interesting, interesting. Let me next time. I did observe one thing while it was happening this time about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start with observing the other person.
Got it.
Start with observing you.
Yes,
The
yeah.
other
And stay on
person,
myself. Stay on myself. That's
the
the
other
key.
person doesn't even actually the other person isn't even there. You
Mm-hmm.
think that they're there as another person. It's just a angelic entity coming to shake you up and say, "Listen, lady, you always react to this. Bang, bang, bing." Observe yourself first. That might take a month.
What I realized was the exercise which helps me is when I look in nature and I see the trees swing.
Ah,
So for me, every time there is negativity around me, I start feeling, can I be that tree? Where, it's just standing, doing nothing. So the more I observe the tree, the more I feel, can I just be it? Because for the tree, everyone comes and goes, but the tree is just right there. And and that's what I realized, that with the wind it sways, the tree, the s- the birds sit on it and there are squirrels making holes in it, but it just stands. And it's so amazing, the tree, that every time I have negativity, can I just be like that tree, just standing, doing nothing, and letting everything around it take its course, and then just be. So I don't know if that helps in any way, but
it helps a great deal. Krishnamurti used to talk about that actually quite a bit. I used to, when he was still alive, he would give the Oak Grove talks in Ojai, California, which is just above LA. And me and a couple of buddies would go up there and listen. But he talked about the tree and he said, the tree is just because he was in the oak, it was a bunch of in a grove of oak trees. And he goes, you know, it's so easy not to actually notice the tree. But when you notice the tree and you can see that it's alive and it's moved, there's tremendous movement within the tree all the time. You have a different relationship to it. Become the tree.
We are almost at the end of the hour, but I just wanted to spend a few minutes discussing a few important things. So first, this semester I have a class at this time. So unfortunately, I won't be able to set up the meeting during this time, and I apologize for the inconvenience that this might cause. But are we as a group maybe up for an alternative time, maybe perhaps Monday nights or something like that? What I had planned to do was just release a Q&A, and then people can just vote based on different time slots that we can come up with. I just wanted to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts on it.
No, evening
Yeah.
evening is actually better for me. Yes.
Okay,
Alka,
awesome.
what about you? Alka,
Yeah, absolutely works for me.
so that would
It
be
does?
morning for you, right?
Yeah, unless it's like evening, I start work at around 10 a.m. So anything before that would work for me.
Evening works. Okay, great. So maybe we can do something like
The only
Monday, uh, Monday 7 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Pacific.
How about
7,
Uh,
7?
7.
I have something at 8, so
okay.
So 7 p.m. would mean 8:30 a.m. for us, right?
yes,
That's
Mm.
perfect for me.
good.
Okay, so I guess I might be the only one because I have to cook food and feed the kids around that time. So I may not be able to. Yeah, but
How
it's
about a different night?
hmm
Mhm.
I mean, for me, every night is gonna be the so I think like it's okay, whatever
What
works.
what time zone you are in, Bhavini?
Yeah,
PST,
Which one?
California.
Okay. So Pacific. Okay.
but what
What
time?
about 6 p.m.? Does 6 p.m. work?
Yeah,
Uh,
Bhavani, does that work for you?
uh, it might be too early for Alka and them, right? Like,
It will be
Alka?
somebody can wake me up.
It'd be
I,
it'd be 6:30 a.m.
I mean,
No. 6, it'll be 7:30 a.m.
yeah, if
7:30 a.m.
Yeah,
everyone,
that's fine. I'll try to wake up early.
But can you do
Yes,
that, Bhavani?
yeah, I might be able, but I think like if we want to do 7 to 8, it's okay with me because I might have fed the kids, by then. So then my husband could take over. So it's okay, I guess. I could.
Yeah, and maybe you can work it out. Sometimes you can be on even if you are cooking, who knows?
Yeah, that's what I would
Yeah,
probably have the
I
iPad.
do that a lot. I still
Yeah,
that's also a very active practice. You're actually practicing what you're talking about. Many of the exercise we talk about doing things in the kitchen, so we can do it as we split our attention.
I don't know. Has anybody tried cooking with headphones on?
I have done that, yes.
Don't you feel when I cook with headphones on, my senses are so engaged in music that I I have to take the headphones off sometimes to see what's going on in the
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah. For me, I also work with auditory feedback. So if I listen to the sizzle, you know, that can also give you a lot of clues in terms of cooking.
It's the first observation, like that's the first time I was able to observe so clearly that multitasking is actually taking away quality from one thing. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of off and getting too stupid here.
So, so maybe
Sharing an
what we can
observation.
do, what
Bernie,
maybe we can do.
Bernie, is that
Yes.
Is that evening time work for you at all? Because that's
Uh,
midnight, right? No.
I would make a sacrifice.
Excellent. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so
I
much.
will,
I
I
get
will, I will attend while I am in bed.
Perfect.
Just
Okay.
You know what?
just keep the snoring down, okay? So what
Okay.
what's scheduled now? Where are we?
7?
Monday, 7 p.m.
Okay.
Pacific.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll set the email out to everybody so that they know. And I think I'll have to let Marvet know as well so that she can change the schedule. I'll talk to her about this.
Okay.
When you upgrade on your university, we have to have some bonus because we helped you, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you guys working around it, and I apologize if this causes any inconvenience to you
No problem.
guys. Thank you so much
I
for
think
coming,
it'll be
and
a
I'll
lot of
see
fun to
you.
do it in mornings for me.
Is it
Yeah, let
good?
us know how that goes. Maybe in the first 2 weeks you'll be like, oh, I can't wake up anymore. You guys go ahead.
No, 8:30 is not early. 8:30 is certainly not.
I can try to get you up, Arka.
No, 8:30 is not early at all. If it was 6 a.m. or something, I would have to think. But
Okay.
8:30 is not.
Good.
All
We look
right.
forward
Well,
to seeing next week at 7 p.m. Monday.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank
so
you,
Great.
much.
Nikki,
Thank you.
Nikhil. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.